Not ever blame the fact that Robyn and I had a deep love on the way that these other relationships.
Flagstaff mornings always came with a familiar cadence. The wan, arid light filtering through the blinds, the soft susurration of cottonwood leaves rustling outside, and that comforting hush that lingered in every room of Janelle's small house. But today, under the surface serenity, something seemed chillier. Standing silently at her kitchen window, her fists curled around a steaming cup of tea, Janelle's gaze was not on the mountains beyond. They were lost somewhere in the distance. Somewhere. Heavy, somewhere. Painful. But what if the dream you once believed in no longer believes in you? Janelle had approached the world of plural marriage with faith, not only in the doctrine but in Kody and what they were creating together. To her, it wasn't a relationship, it was a sacred marriage founded on faith, harmony, and sacrifice for one another. She held firm to the strength of sisterhood. She held fast to the possibility of enduring love. She held firm in believing they could overcome any storm. But sometimes storms don't only rattle foundations, they lay bare. The deepest cracks years went by, and Kody, the man she used to look up to as a spiritual rock, gradually transformed into someone she no longer recognized, the ideals he once championed. Gone, replaced by an emptiness, an aloofness. Someone aloof, and now for the first time in 29 years, Janelle was prepared to speak. Hello, friends. Welcome back, I'm Sienna, and this is TLC's Future. Today, we revisit a moment that changed everything. By the time the production van ground onto Janelle's gravel driveway, her tea had been cold for hours. There was nothing glamorous inside her living room, just a plain chair, the soft glow of a lamp, and a plain cream wall behind her. No makeup team, no light chit-chat, just raw, unvarnished truth. Janelle sat erect, shaking hands, resting in her lap, holding her breath for the red recording light to come on. What she said after that, she never practiced because it wasn't performing. It was letting go. And there's no appeal left, not in Kody, not in that life, and no, I don't like Robyn, and I don't feel guilty for saying that anymore. Her tone didn't tremble with rage. It rang with clarity, with conviction. This wasn't a stab in anger. It was a clean, cut long overdue, one she would have fought for him for all of them. Now she merely observes the truth. She was never really a partner, not an equal, simply an accessory to Kody's continually shrinking narrative. And as she breathed deeply, her hands still shaking, she made no effort to conceal it. Let them notice her shaking. Let them see what survival is like. Kody always claimed he was our leader. But in the end, all I saw was a man who abandoned everything and everyone that didn't revolve around. Robyn cut to the haunting flashbacks TLC once captured. The quiet moments that now scream volumes, Kody laughing on speakerphone with Robyn while Janelle, pregnant as could be with Gabriel, stands alone in the kitchen, a family gathering where Janelle hesitantly raises their increasing financial strain. Kody's reaction, brush off brusque. We'll figure it out later. I have more important things to talk about with Robyn and the photo that shatters hearts. Janelle, arriving with quiet pride at her son Hunter's graduation there, as always but invisible. This is no longer a tale of polygamy, it's the awakening of a woman who wouldn't remain invisible once more. Kody was running behind, why further tension and distress at Robyn's home as ever. Janelle took the burn in silence. Her son Hunter's face quietly fell, the hope in his countenance extinguished. But Janelle, she did what she always did, smiled time and time again. The camera captured her doing exactly that, smiling for the moment, for the family, for the show. But behind those repeated smiles lay tired eyes that had been so for years. For how long can a person smile through invisibility before she finally tells the truth? In her current interview, Janelle's tone was even, but weighted. I spent years convinced the lies she admitted. If I just worked harder, gave more, smiled longer, I thought I'd be seen, that maybe Kody would remember. I was more than just background noise, that he'd remember the strength we once shared. But the more she gave, the more she vanished. Later that same week in Salt Lake City, Janelle sat at Christine's kitchen table. Christine long since moved on from the marriage body, and heart still left her home open. The kettle always filled, a gentle gesture of comfort and solidarity. Cinnamon hung in the air, a pot roast simmering in the oven, and in that kitchen, with warmth closing in around her, Janelle felt something she'd been denied for years: belonging. Remember? She asked when we used To call ourselves the pillars of the family, Christine smiled a worn and knowing smile. Yeah, she said, until we figured out that we were propping up a roof that only ever covered one room. They laughed not with pleasure, but with recognition. That pang of shared experience. I gave Kody everything Janelle went on, but he gave his everything. To Robyn, meanwhile, was watching footage of Janelle's interview, fingers shaking as she wiped at smudged mascara, clutching a tissue as a lifeline. She turned to Kody, tears streaming down her face. Why is she doing this to us? Robyn wept. She's trying to ruin everything. But perhaps the true devastation was the silence that had hung in the air for so long. Kody paced like a tempest locked behind bars. She's bitter, she's ungrateful. She doesn't get what it means to guide a family, but even as he said them, the words sounded hollow remnants of a position he no longer held. Because if nobody wants to follow you anymore, are you still a leader after all? And then, the children's voices, Janelle's sons, especially silent for years, they finally had their say on the internet. They started sharing their truths. Gabriel uploaded a plain picture of his mom calmly standing in the garden. The caption stung years ago. I stopped waiting for my dad to show up. I just didn't realize my mom had stopped waiting to, and when that truth was finally freed, it couldn't be muzzled. It ran wild. Kody's neatly constructed house of cards founded on control. Unity and deception was crumbling at last, and this time nobody came to bail it out. Janelle stood before the camera in her last confession. No scripts, no doovers, just pure truth. I don't despise Kody. She spoke softly, and I don't despise Robyn a beat. Her eyes did not blink, but I don't.
My feelings and boundaries and emotions respected. I don't think that's being a victim. I don't know if that's how I really do
have to like them, and I don't have to pretend anymore. With calm hands, Janelle took off her microphone. She got up, walked off the set, and left it all behind outside. Dawn crept over the mountains, the first light of a new day. Freedom doesn't always come with a bang. Sometimes it gets up and walks away, never looking back. The last montage is gentle but piercing. Janelle nurturing herbs in her garden, sunlight on her shoulders, laughing on a picnic with her children, wine playing through her hair, hiking the fearless cliffs of Zion, eyes unclouded legs, unshakable, sitting solo on a patio, a book in her hands, serenity in her demeanor, no longer waiting around, no longer invisible, just living. But the story does not end with Janelle in the aftermath. Of Heartbreak, fans started to wonder, where do Kody's kids stand now? Particularly with Robyn, the abrupt and tragic passing in March 2024 of Garrison Brown shocked the family and the viewers who had seen this family break apart in slow motion. All these years, Robyn, who was originally hailed as the Dover, had become the wedge, while Kody's other 3 marriages had failed. Robyn was still the last wife on her feet, and in many eyes, the golden one. But with that familiarity came distance in other places, distance from the grown-up children who used to call him Dad proudly, Logan, Madison, Hunter, Garrison, Gabriel, Mikey, Pedon, Aspen. These grown-up children started speaking out online in interviews by quiet means, and the message was loud. They were finished waiting too. Kody had taken in Robyn's children, Dayton, Aurora, and Brianna. Together, they had Solomon and Ariella. But even while that smaller circle narrowed, the emotional chasm between his older children expanded into a canyon. Prior to his death, Garrison publicly stated that Robyn was partly to blame for the severed relationships. He felt her influence served to alienate their father from the rest of the family. I don't need a dad anymore, he had once declared, and I certainly don't need a new mom, Gabe. And Gwen repeated his words. They talked of Robyn's victim complex, how she presented herself as the victim, while secretly gaining from their father's changing allegiances. She was not a bridge to them, she was the wall. Robyn, however, spoke of her own hurt. She felt unjustly accused, made out to be the villain in a show she never set out to be in. I've tried, she maintained, but some of them were never going to take me in, no matter what I did. The wounds are deep. The healing, if it ever occurs, will require more than apologies, for at its heart, the Brown family saga is not merely one of plural marriage. It's one of connection loss. And what happens when the glue that binds everybody together finally decides it's time to let go? And now the question remains. Can this family come back to each other? Or is this the last chapter? The stress never relented. Kody and Robyn tried their best to heal and move on as a cohesive unit, but family harmony still eluded them, further out of reach with each changing season behind closed doors. Preference, distrust, and unresolved bitterness continued to divide what little peace they had, and the older kids felt it. Worst, Kody's bias was one of the most profound hurts to them. It wasn't merely a matter of unequal rules or choices that gave extra privilege to Robyn's biological children. It was about being noticed, being heard, being valued. But to them, that was no longer true. They felt like strangers in their own household. Some thought that Robyn's subtle influence directed Kody's decision. Others perceived his loyalty toward her as a violation of the children, whom he had long before she came into their lives, the outcome a continually growing gap, one that no holiday reunion or family counseling could appear to bridge reconciliation with Robyn. That hope was disappearing quickly, and yet at least for a while there was one pleasant exception. Christine and Kody's daughter, Janelle Brown, once had a surprisingly strong and affectionate bond with Robyn in pivotal moments. Robyn was there at Janelle's wedding to Tony Pedron during the emotional birth of their twins. Ace and Archer Robyn was even invited into the delivery room, a sign of deep trust and closeness rarely granted in this fractured family. For years, theirs was a singular relationship within the Brown family, one forged on respect, laughter, and genuine concern, until all of that changed when Garrison Brown took his own life in March 2024. Shockwaves ripped through the family, but nowhere was the aftermath more quietly tragic than between Janelle and Robyn in an insightful Patreon entry. Janelle suggested there was a dramatic split at Garrison's funeral. She would not provide specific information, but the note was clear. Disappointment hurt finality. Whatever transpired at that funeral set something in motion. Their previously strong relationship frayed gradually. Then abruptly, Janelle started distancing herself from Robyn, just as so many of her siblings had done. Garrison's passing did not simply create sorrow. It opened old wounds, it widened unspoken rifts, it ripped apart things the family had attempted to conceal where there used to be support. There is now silence where there used to be loyalty. There's now a muddled pain, and where there used to be a second mother for Janelle, she may now just see a stranger loss. Has a way of cutting through truths. And in the Brown family, it showed how far the cracks had gone. The intricacy of blended families is even more tenuous in the face of loss. Garrison Brown's untimely death did not merely bring sadness, it laid bare the most critical cracks in the family's already weakened foundation. Now those cracks are widening into abysses in a tearful Patreon post. Janelle Brown poured out her heart about the emotional price this loss has extracted. Her writing unveiled not only sadness, but a family trying to hold themselves together in the wake of tragedy. It was a representation of something far larger than an instant. It was concerning how grief redefines its relationships and how previous wounds can come back to haunt when families are already fractured. Robyn also has started to voice out on a recent Sister Wives episode. She openly confessed to feeling isolated, as if she and her kids had been voted off the Brown family island. All this changed after Garrison died, the phone calls ceased, the invitation stopped, and the emotional distance became deeper than ever before. Robyn has longed for closeness, for oneness, for some form of the big mixed-up family she believed they were creating now. She feels like an outsider with her children standing on the sidelines too. Despite the attempts to remain involved, Robyn reports that she's been greeted with silence. She's talked about how the absence of empathy and contact from other relatives has only served to intensify her loneliness, causing her to feel more isolated than ever. This is the agonizing truth of blended families and grief. There's no instruction book for loss, no blueprint for rebuilding what's been torn apart. And when old scars, unresolved anger, and conflicting definitions of family crash into each other, even love might not be sufficient to keep it all together. Robyn still insists on pushing for healing, though on recent shows she's cajoled Kody into making amends. With his kids to man up, own up, and show up, she fears the increasing distance. How quickly bitterness creeps in when bonds are left untended. But Kody is conflicted. He's conceded that he won't work at relationships with children who refuse to meet him halfway. He's spoken simply. He feels shut out, like he's the one who's been abandoned. And amidst all of this, Kody has drawn a distinct line. He will not give up his connection with Robyn in order to reconcile with anyone else. That commitment has created a fresh source of tension. Robyn demands more struggle. She demands a dad who will battle for his children. But Kody appears to desire those children to come to him. And so the emotional distance just widens between Kody and his children. Between Robyn and the extended family, and even between their own marriage in this household, loss hasn't only been sad, it's been reflective, with regrets about the past shattered allegiance, and the largest question of all, can this family ever heal? A new chapter, a new fight Christine Brown puts in for sole custody of daughter. Truly, after more than 25 years of spiritual marriage, sister wives Christine and Kody Brown broke up later in 2021, but while their split is in the rear view, the war over custody of their youngest daughter, Truly Brown, is only just beginning. Truly, who was born in 2010 and is a favorite among longtime viewers, has lived with her mom, Christine, for most of the last 3 years since the breakup. She's had only occasional visits with her father. Kody, a situation that's created increasing tension between the ex-couple Christine, who relocated to Utah. After the breakup, says the move was in her daughter's best interest. I brought Truly with me to Utah and I made the right decision, she said. But Kody firmly protested. He accused Christine of fabrication and deception to legitimize the relocation. One of Kody's primary issues revolved around Christine's relationship with her then fiancé David Woolley. When they moved, Christine and David were not yet married. Kody criticized the setup, asserting that it was inappropriately in their daughter to be within a residence with Christine's then boyfriend. Christine and David got married legally in October 2023. Christine escalated the conflict by the beginning of 2024, when she made a demand for child support from Kody, taking him aback and leading her to initiate legal action to legitimize his parental responsibilities at the time when Truly was born. Christine and Kody were spiritually but not legally committed to each other, and Kody's name did not appear on her birth certificate because Christine wanted to make sure that Kody understood his legal obligation. She filed a paternity declaration, an action that not only solidified his fatherhood status, but also set her up to petition for full custody and financial compensation in September of 2024. Christine made the filing, yet so far she has not confirmed if a custody arrangement has been made in December. Both sides made disclosures, and as reported by Reality T on May 21, 2025, the two were set to go into mediation. Christine has still not commented on the subject of current custody publicly, but most anticipate that she will have more to say on the subject. In the new season of Sister Wives, fans are still fascinated by Truly's life. After all, they've been watching her grow up on camera. Now a teenager, Truly still makes appearances in her mother's Instagram stories, frequently smiling during their adventurous excursions together in April 2025. Christine posted a sweet video of an off-road adventure in Sand Hollow, Utah, with David and Truly. Her post stated, "It's snugly serene and the perfect place to unwind and create memories with David and Truly." As legal matters evolve, fans are left wondering, will Christine gain full custody, and how will this affect Truly's dynamic with Kody in the future? Something is sure, this chapter is hardly finished. Truly Brown shines in Utah while Kody and Robyn fade from the spotlight. Christine Brown and her daughter Truly remain turning hearts on and off screen. During a recent video posted from their off-road excursion, the mother-daughter pair seemed truly happy. Fans were quick to point out how much Truly looks like Christine, not only in appearance but in personality. In January of 2025, Christine uploaded a darling photo set of her and Truly having fun together at Utah's Goblin Valley, wearing matching sunglasses and big smiles. The similarity between the two was noteworthy. More than 34,000 followers liked and commented on the post, with many swooning over their relationship. Truly is a mini Christine. I wrote another love. Her chimed in a second, summing up the sentiment of many Sister Wives fans who've become enamored of Truly over the years. The tidal wave of support Truly gets from fans could not be more different from the increasingly distant presence of Kody and Robyn Brown, now more estranged emotionally and physically than ever from the rest of the family. The couple were once the focal points of the Sister Wives saga. Kody and Robyn started dating in 2010 and legalized their relationship in 2014 when Kody divorced his first wife, Mary, so that he could adopt Robyn's children. From a prior marriage, the more time passed, the more devoted Kody became to Robyn, gradually stepping away from the other wives. This change put a strain on the family unit and eventually resulted in the dissolution of his plural marriage, Christine. Kody's third wife was the first to leave in 2021. She dissolved their spiritual marriage to focus on her own happiness and has since established a happy life with her current husband, David Woolley, inspired by Christine's strength. Janelle, Kody's second wife, also left in 2022. She relocated to North Carolina to live her dream of having a farm. Mary joined in 2023, moving to Utah to prioritize her business and fulfill her late mother's legacy. As season 19 comes to an end, the Sister Wives franchise appears to be reaching its last pages, and although the program may return in some capacity, Kody and Robyn's roles are seemingly greatly reduced. Where once they were at the heart of the story, now they're more seen as outsiders, at least in part because of their seclusion in Flagstaff, Arizona, and disconnection from the developing storylines focused in Utah. Another important reason for their diminished relevance, their total abandonment of polygamy after years of turmoil within and family discord. Kody publicly announced in 2024 that he was through with polygamy. Robyn, formerly a strong plural marriage believer, confessed she'd considered doing it only under specific circumstances, but their actions speak louder. Neither has made the slightest effort to acquire another wife. Their transition to monogamy virtually assures the end of their sister-wife saga as Christine, Janelle, and Mary continue on creating new experiences and becoming stronger on their own. It's evident who the audience still cheers for, and with Truly by her side, Christine's new life shines brighter than ever. Why Kody and Robyn may be done with Sister Wives during season 19 of Sister Wives. Kody and Robyn Brown have had a strong focus on the past, reliving their previous polygamous existence, and being unable to move forward. Most of their time on the screen has been spent reliving old hurts with Robyn, frequently getting tearful, and Kody still blaming his ex-wives for the family's failure. What's missing, however, is any kind of accountability. Neither Kody nor Robyn has ever given any sign of regret for the role they each played in the failure of the family. Rather, they are stagnant, whereas Christine, Janelle, and Mary are learning and maturing. Glenn fans have noted that Kody and Robyn have nothing of substance to add to the show. Their narratives have become repetitive and at some points confrontational. They've also displayed growing disdain for the process itself, especially in the tell all segments. Their reluctance to respond to direct questions has made fans feel disrespected during one dramatic confrontation. Even the host tried to quiz Kody's reasoning. Instead of having a sincere moment of self-reflection, he cut her off and stood by his feelings for Robyn, arguing that he was sick of feeling guilty about it. His condescending demeanor and outward frustration indicate he might no longer have a desire to be on the show, or at least not in a significant manner. Another reason Kody seems to be moving away from Sister Wives is his broken relationships with his children. As of 2025, the show's central theme has decidedly turned toward Christine, Janelle, Mary, and their children. Kody, who has not been able to regain the trust of many of his children, simply doesn't have a strong narrative thread to trace that lost connection, and lack of storyline could cause producers to reduce his role in upcoming seasons or eliminate him altogether monetarily. Kody and Robyn no longer require the show as much as they used to when Sister Wives started in 2010. It was an essential source of funds today, though they look solid financially. In 2024, they got a lot of attention by buying a lavish $2.1 million mansion in Arizona. Their lifestyle lavish spending on jewelry, designer footwear, and paintings has been cause for concern. Some fans even wondering if there's a shopping addiction at play, finally, with no engrossing narrative resistance to openness and fiscal independence away from reality television. Kody and Robyn are quietly becoming obsolete for Sister Wives, the only future for the show. Now that the women and children have long moved on and are doing great, is TLC ending what? Do you think should TLC stick with Kody and Robyn in the limelight? Or is it time to shine a light on Christine, Janelle, and Mary's new chapters? Instead, leave your comments below, subscribe here for more news and behind-the-scenes looks into Sister Wives and your favorite TLC families. Thanks for watching.